is the Glass Cannon Network.
You're having fun with your friends and you're rolling dice. You're playing make-believe and it's really nice. Side quest, side sesh. That's the name of this show. Good evening. Welcome to the Side Quest show. I'm your host, Trey Levine.
You're really drunk.
I wish I was.
We started early today.
I mentioned to the gentleman here, whose names I can't remember, before the show, that I am we're sleep training our baby Evie. And last night I experienced a true trifecta of wake-ups that has left me reeling all the way through today. And the best part of that is we're not about to record multiple episodes of the show and pretend that it's different days. But if you're not familiar with sleep training, you let the baby cry it out and you time it. There's a number of different ways to do it, and it's more emotionally draining than anything because the baby just screams bloody murder, and then you go in, you're like, it's okay, and then you set a stopwatch, and then that time gets longer and longer until they teach themselves how to fall asleep, and so it's horrible. It's horrible when you have to go through the like, oh, God, I just want to grab her, she's crying, and then it's also horrible to just sit there and listen to screaming when you're in bed. So she's screaming last night at 3:30 in the morning, and then the Dash has a nightmare. And so I'm like, fuck, I gotta go deal with that. So I go up to Dash's room to deal with the nightmare, and as I'm getting Dash down, Archer wakes up with the nightmare. So then I come back downstairs, Evie just went down, Evie wakes back. Like, it just kept going in cycles all night. So I feel like I wish I had my watch on, because I feel like it would have been the most horrific sort of graph of how many hours of actual sleep I got, but I didn't have it on.
Do you think maybe there's something different you could do about how you're parenting your sons so that they don't have nightmares every night?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
I find that Texas Chainsaw Massacre really soothes them before bedtime.
Yeah. They like loud, repetitive noises, like the rumbling of a chainsaw. That's something
of Leatherface's chainsaw, whatever his name is. Really puts them right down. I guess I should stop doing that.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to raise your children, so I'm not going to comment.
No comment.
Is it Leatherface or Leatherhead? I can't even think straight.
Leatherface. Leatherhead
Troy.
was the alligator man from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that spoke in a Cajun accent.
I feel like he was a G.I. Joe, too. Wasn't there a Leatherhead G.I. Joe?
What was the
Leatherneck.
Leatherhead?
Leather neck.
I think Leatherneck was
Same
Oh
thing.
man,
It's a
can
part
you
of the head.
imagine, dude? Imagine if they all met, dude.
the leather boys.
Leatherface, Leatherhead, and Leatherneck. Someone write that fan fiction.
Wait, isn't there like a George Clooney movie with the leather title with the Leather Boys or something? Or
The Leather Boys. That's a
That's
different
right, Joe. The Leather Boys is the name of it. Yes.
Could they meet in a leather bar? Like, I think I would. Then I would be there for it.
That'd be fun.
I think you're thinking of Michael Clayton, Joe.
Michael Clayton. So I think
Leatherheads. George Clooney, Leatherheads.
It's like early football, right?
Football.
Yeah, early football. Yes.
I think the film is Leatherhead, Leatherneck, and Leatherface meet in a leather bar, and then it's just the plot from Cruisin' with Al Pacino.
That plot has definitely aged well.
I
If you
can't.
haven't seen Cruisin', Naish, go out and rent it now.
Yeah.
We
Good family fun.
This
Family
was
flick.
years ago. I was out with a big group, and we were down in the West Village, and we were just looking for like another bar. We had left one bar, and we were looking for another bar, and we walked up to this bar that in no way indicated that it was a specific type of bar. And we walked in, and there's a ton of gay bars down in the West Village. Which
Wait, really?
we were like, well, maybe it'll be a gay bar, whatever. We walk into the bar, and it's a full-on leather bar. And it was like Animal House, where they walk in, like the music screeched, and everybody looked at us, all like village peopled out. And we were like, 2 vodka, we're going to leave. And we're not dressed for this. But Joe, do you own a lot of leather chaps?
No, I am not a leatherman.
You're not a leatherman?
But I have walked into bars like that. I have. I don't think it's happened more than once where I didn't know. Like I've been to plenty of bars like that, knowing where I'm going, but I have walked into one where I did not know at all that it was a gay bar, and I got a drink, and was like hanging out for a minute, and then was like, wait a minute, took a minute, and then I was like, I got it now. Yeah, I got it.
Wrong here. This gay bar doesn't have any fire exits.
If you walk into a place like that and you feel a little nervous, you know what you can do instead of walking out is you can take a bunch of poppers and then have sex with the men that are in the bar.
That really does
When in
ease
Rome.
the awkwardness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's like,
Or you know what? You're really relaxed.
You guys are like the living embodiment of that Onion headline. It was like the area man upset that local gay bar doesn't have a more specific name or something. It's called like Rods.
Oh God, I love a good Onion headline. You don't even want to read the article because it'll never live up to the headline.
Oh God, I remember that headline. It was so infuriated.
Name of gay bar should have been clearer. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was called Rods. I mean, I don't think you could even read on air the name he suggested it be called, so that it was more clear.
2 other names, yes.
I've been watching a bunch of old Siskel and Ebert episodes on YouTube I've mentioned, and that's one of my favorite Onion headlines. It was the day after Gene Siskel died. It was that week, and it was just a little blurb headline, and it was just Ebert victorious.
Oh God, you could get lost in them. Sudanese 14-year-old has midlife crisis.
That's good.
All right. All right. Well, we're at a party here in the Isle of Bhopan. I mean, we're trying to recap this before we went live, and just a lot of shit went on. And then I watched like the last couple minutes before we went live, and I had forgot about stuff, and I was laughing so hard. You at one point you were talking to and because you basically, I'll go back a little further. You get to
Isn't that always the way?
You get to Bhopan, and it's this whole thriving society. You take this carriage that's like living and cleaning you on the way in, and you get there and you get an audience with the king, and the king is like directing all these people to like put up tents and hang decorations, and you realize like, oh shit, this guy is the guy on the face of the coin that you found on the skeletal body in the jungle. And you speak with them, and obviously it doesn't go super well because you're I think at least Karazor like spills his blood. You see other people spilling their blood on the ground. You realize this is some sort of custom. So Karazor, when in Rome, spills his blood, and so they appreciate that. But the conversation isn't great, and he basically makes it clear to you a couple things. One, Selmius Foster comes up, and he kind of bristles at it, and then eventually he's like, he was punished for his crimes. That's all you need to know. If you want, you can come to our big party tomorrow, the Masquerade of Seasons. It's an annual event. It's a really big deal. But then you should probably get out of here. But you're our guest tonight, and so he leaves you with one of the assistants in the this dog-faced guy named Leljeshin. But I believe he's not quite dog-faced. It's like he looks like a gremlin or something, right? Is that what we found? Like some sort of.
He's gremlin. A pug. Is he a pug wampy or?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, they look like dogs, but then when you rolled a check to realize actually they're more like pug wampy gremlins, and this is sort of an effect of the weird fey magic that affects the area. It affects all the way back in the Impossible Lands, and even out here, weeks away from where that was, that magic is still sort of warped the area and warped the people here. So Leljeshin says, "All right, let me take you to your rooms. You guys, you're our guests. You can stay here tonight. And there's everyone's coming together for the Masquerade of Seasons. Feel free to mingle with the people that are hanging out." So you go to this little cocktail party, and there's all these people with all different animal faces, and you're talking to a shark guy, a shark face guy, and he talks about the vault or something. He mentions that, the Selmius, the reason he got in trouble is because he tried to break into the royal vault. And then you start to ask more questions, and he's like, oh, sorry, Tim, hey, Tim, I gotta talk to Tim. And he goes to talk to Tim, and then Balthazar and Champ walk up to him and like very awkwardly, he's like, hey, sorry, I have to talk to my friend. He's got his wife's sister has a problem. And Champ goes, is it a problem with the vault?
Just wanted to keep the questioning on topic. That's all.
That's what they say in interrogation school. It's like never leave your main subject alone.
And they're like, you guys are
leave them alone.
I'm very uncomfortable. We're gonna go. And so they leave, but then a snake face dude by the name of Montgomery Pip kind of sidles up to you and is like, hey, you guys, you talking about the vault? And he says, like, rumor has it, Selmius Foster tried to break in and got in, which means obviously he was in league with the great Fey Evil, known as the Thorned Monarch. And that's where we ended the episode. So we'll pick up right there. You're still talking to old Montgomery Pip. Please, I'm waiting for that artwork to come in of Montgomery Pip talking to Champ.
Whose name is surely directly from the module.
Straight out of the module. You can't make that up. You're talking to Montgomery Pip, and he says, the Thorned Monarch. What do you do?
Can I roll a check to see if I know who the Thorn Monarch is?
Sure, maybe a history.
That's not in Pathfinder 2e.
Something like history.
Society.
Thank you.
Old sure.
Habits.
I'll roll society.
We'll recall knowledge.
Could I do occultism?
You can. May not give you the information you want, but you can do.
Well, I'm not going to know anything because I rolled natural 2.
How embarrassing.
Balthazar has forgotten more than you'll ever know, Troy.
It's true. And so he's just sitting there like,
Who is the thorned god?
I said Thorn Monarch.
Oh. Who's the Thorn Monarch?
You don't know about the Thorned Monarch?
I can't say I do.
Never heard of him.
He was, legend has it, he was a Fey tyrant who established his own demi-plane of Fey magic and made it his stronghold from which he terrorized all the surrounding lands. Bhopan, our island, was of course an easy target, and he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for some Bhopanese heroes who managed to stop him somehow.
And this all was happening at the same time as Selmius Foster?
Yes and no. Probably predated Selmius by centuries, but his presence has always been felt, and a lot of people believe that the only way this outsider could have gotten to the vault was if he was working with a powerful being, such as the Thorned Monarch. But he may have got in, but he was executed for his crimes.
But the monarch had been gone for centuries.
Oh yeah, for a long time. This was during the early days of Bhopan. But things still aren't right here.
But is there any answer to how they stopped him? You said, somehow. What is the legend of how they stopped the Thorned Monarch?
That part has been lost to time. But many believe it was... Yes.
We encountered some Fey along the way on our way into town.
Yeah, there's Fey everywhere. They
were quite belligerent.
Yes, they can be belligerent.
We killed some of them.
They were Bolokos.
Ah, yes.
I'm not there. I'm sleeping in the hotel room.
Who said that? Yes, Bolokos. They're crocodile-faced Fey. Yeah, they're out there, and we're usually at peace with them. We have reached some sort of accord with the Fey, but there are wild Fey. As of late, honestly, there's been a lot more cases of this. It's very sad to hear that you had to resort to bloodshed. However, if your life was threatened, you had to do what you had to do. Obviously, we, the people of Bhopan, were threatened by Selmius, and he was executed, and then his partner ran away with the princess. The dish ran away with the spoon, as it were.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's an expression that I heard that I've been trying to work into conversation.
Is it a metaphor?
I don't know what that is. Is that the one where you use like and as?
That's a simile.
Simile?
Is it a synecdoche?
What?
What about a metonymy?
Stop showing off.
I've been around for 7,000 years. I've learned some words.
Yeah, we all know.
Anyway, you guys seem cool. I'm going to go hit the punch bowl, and maybe I'll see you at the dance tomorrow.
Wait,
Sounds good.
One more question.
Sounds good.
I look
Expressionless
down
eye holes look at you.
I look down about 2 feet to Champ's eyes. Sounds good.
All right. You guys have fun. And he walks away. He slithers away.
You understood what he was really telling us, right?
That he didn't understand what a metaphor was?
No, more than that. Had to be.
No.
Me neither. Let's go find. Let's go find.
Let's come find.
Friends.
Lajeshin is nearby, and he's like, is everything, he's never with, like, more than an arm's reach away, but he's giving you your privacy to mingle, but he was told, to stay near you, and he's like, is everything, I can't remember his voice, is everything going all right?
Yes, I understand your people have a long history with the Fae as enemies of a sort. I was wondering if you're ever worried about them. I don't know, sneaking into the city or being here. Are there any Fae at all in the city?
Well, there are many who would call us Fae. Look at my face. The Fae blood runs through us all. But of course, you saw how heavily guarded the bridge was to get here. It would be nearly impossible for an enemy to breach the kingdom.
Can I ask you a question? It might sound philosophical in nature, but I don't really understand much of your society at all.
Please, ask away.
You have Fae blood running through your veins, yet those we encountered in the forest were put down as wild animals. In fact, your emissary used that very term, called them wildlife. What is the difference between wildlife and you?
The level of civilization. To be honest, the Fae magics that run throughout this land have affected Bhopan for centuries and changed the very terrain as well as its people. However, some of us are more civilized than the beasts that roam the forests. We are usually in accord, but sometimes, they are not as intelligent and as refined as we are. That's why they live out there and we live here. Look at my multicolored robe.
Yes, it's very beautiful.
You can hear Rufus having an argument with the bartender where he's like, well, that's just your opinion, man. Maybe I think that the service here is a little bit lacking.
All right, sir, here's a warm milk.
And then I take the warm milk and I sit down and stare at the table while I sip it.
So you guys, if you're looking around for people, you do see Karazor descending the stairs in a robe toward you, and then you look around, you do see Rufus staring at a warm glass of milk.
Should we ask Rufus if he knows about the Thorned Monarch? I feel like maybe he would have written a song about him.
The Thorned Monarch? Are you guys talking about the Thorned Monarch?
Yes, you've heard of him. Them. It.
Well, I got a 16 nature, which is usually what you use to find out about Fae.
That's right.
Is that high enough?
You've heard maybe in your studies the legend of the Thorned Monarch has sort of crossed your path, but his influence or his reign of terror was really localized to this area, not just to Bhopan, but to the islands around here. And so sort of specifics about him, you don't know.
I don't know any specifics about him. his reign of terror was sort of confined to this area or the islands around here. That's all I can tell you. And then I take a big drink of milk and it dribbles down my chin.
I wonder what power he possessed. Perhaps Nikeso is looking for that. I don't know. It's chicken and the egg, right? Did he want what's in the vault, or did he want the power to even get in the vault?
Do we know what's in the vault?
No, I don't.
There's only one way to know what's in a vault.
To go in the vault.
That's the way, yes.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Laljeshin brings you all together and says, I think things are winding down here. Perhaps we should retire to the common room of your quarters, and we could chat further.
Laljeshin, can we have some time alone? We have religious rituals that we have to conduct that are private to just skeletons, constructs, and us.
Yeah, of course, far be it from me to infringe upon your religious practices. But let us go. I'll at least let me escort you to the common area.
Of course. And if we were to leave the common area for a glass of warm milk for Rufus, perhaps, would we be allowed to do that?
I should think that's fine. I don't know where you would get one, but I can arrange for services should you need that.
And just so we know where not to go, could you identify some certain off-limits areas for us, like the throne room, the private bedchambers of the king, the vault, so we just won't go there?
Yes, well, all of those areas are heavily guarded. So it should be pretty clear. Come with me. And he really is looking at you and kind of reading between the lines a little bit, maybe, even though that's not your intention. And he ushers you that way. Let's see another picture of him, by the way. I don't think I accurately described him. So there he is. I kept saying Pugwampy Gremlin, but that was more like the Bhopanese Greenwatch, the soldiers that saved you from the jungle. He looks more like an aardvark. But he's wearing a beautiful multicolored robe, really decked out, and I like the little mask. Very cool artwork.
I remember this now. It's very dignified. It's very dignitary-ish garb.
Is Arthur an aardvark? Arthur of the book and television show fame, right?
I don't know. But both of my grandfathers were named Arthur, and that's my middle name.
Arthur Reed is an anthropomorphic aardvark. So yes.
Hey!
Oh.
That show sucked.
What is Babar? Because I have a hard time.
He's an elephant.
I think he's an elephant.
Oh!
And I think it's Babar.
Babar.
Okay.
Babar.
The R is
Babar.
silent at the end.
I say
It's
Babar.
Babar.
All right, so he seems to be like, yo, over here,
Kinda,
dude.
he's been right next to you, so you imagine he's been kind of hearing, but he's just standing near you and watching around, but you're asking these questions. So he pulls you inside, and maybe there's like a common area that connects all of your suites. Very, very nice of them to put you in lodging such as this, so you can have your own separate beds, but at least be able to, congregate. And so he closes the door and then turns around from the door and clears his throat and says, if you would permit me but a moment before you indulge in your religious rites and ceremonies. Before we talk further, however, let me fulfill my duty to explain what awaits you. Tomorrow night, as King Wabiki said, is the annual Masquerade of Seasons. We will all gather in the grand plaza of the Eternal Bloom and be merry. This, one of our most sacred customs, culminates in the opening of the Eternal Bloom's flowers to the sound of the grand dance. Its pollen ensuring prosperity and peace for all of Bhopan. It is quite a spectacle, and though you perhaps did not come here seeking such a ceremony, I think you will be quite pleased by it. It is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Know that His Majesty does not expect you to perform well in the dance, as it is a somewhat complex affair for those not familiar with the proper steps. That being said, if you do rise to the occasion, you'll be able to dance and glide among the spires of Capodicasa, and even right beneath the grand anther, if you're particularly graceful. I googled the word anther, and it's the part of the stamen of the flower where the pollen resides. It is in effect the penis of the flower, and to dance beneath the flower's penis is a great honor.
Can I ask you, what's with all the flower shit? I'm sorry, I'm but a traveler in your land. I don't understand this nonsense about flowers. Why you're so obsessed?
No, I understand the question. We are very close to nature here in Bhopan. It is as much a part of us as anything.
Like many lower forms of life tend to be. Not that I'm accusing you of any such thing.
No, I certainly didn't interpret it that way.
Of course.
Yes, we are...
Look at you in your little pants. Walking upright.
Thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate my couture.
I truly do. He lays his hand on his forearm. He's like, you're adorable.
Thank you. It's very kind. I don't, what they say about outsiders. You are very kind to compliment me in such a way. They say that you're all murderers and terrible and thieves and killers, and I'm believing otherwise. Just in the little time that we've had together.
Would you do us the honor of instructing us in the steps of this dance?
It is not something that I can really teach. I think
and Balthazar holds up his arms as if to ballroom dance with you.
This would be very inappropriate. It is not my place to really teach you. And trust me, you will get more out of the experience by watching and experiencing on your own. As I said, the king doesn't expect you to go out there and put on a grand show, though I'm sure he and everyone else would be very impressed if you did. It is more that you show that you are trying to immerse yourself in our culture. Even if you fail, it is the attempt that will be respected. But I know you had asked earlier, and I admit I couldn't help but overhear you questioning some of the guests about Selmius Foster. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We came to find out what happened to him, and now we know, so I guess we're done here.
Well, I don't know if you do know, and I apologize for being coy earlier when you immediately asked me about the reason for your quest upon meeting me, but his arrival here is a part of our history that many choose to ignore. I am surprised that there were people at the party that were as forthcoming as they were talking about him. I'm sure you know that he came here seeking something within our royal vault, and that these ambitions likely led to the secrets behind his death. Yes?
No, we are unfamiliar with his story. What was he seeking within the vault?
He kind of looks back to the door, looks over at you. So we have some time before your religious ceremonies and rites to speak freely?
Yeah, we could take a couple minutes, sure.
Sure.
What time is it? Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, the official story, as I assume you heard, is that Princess Gange was kidnapped by Pathfinders, who forced her to lead them to the royal vault. And then during that attempted theft from the vault, Selmius Foster, not his accomplice, was caught and summarily executed. That is the story that has been passed down throughout time. but it is not the truth. The truth, as redacted accounts of the time and other records of the princess's personality would suggest, was quite different. You see, the princess desperately wanted to liberate her people from the burden of cultural stagnation here on Bhopan. We are so far from the rest of the world, and yet so isolated, and the princess saw an opportunity to learn more. But that is not something that is promoted here, that is encouraged. So when the group was caught, Selmius was accused not only of kidnapping the princess, but of breaking into the vault as well. The queen at the time had no interest in letting anyone know that the princess was actually an active participant in the heist, rather than a victim of cruel outsiders. The only proof or any clues about what Foster was hoping to find would lie in the vault. But that's not something anyone has been able to check. The
Why
vault,
not?
well, I'll tell you why. The vault requires at least 4 people to open it simultaneously, or otherwise it is unclear. And the reason that we cannot know is that any one of Bhopanese blood that is not of royal blood who attempts to open the vault, it is lethal.
Ah, because you are not people.
No,
In the
it's-
strictest sense of the word.
That's
Believe me, I sympathize. I've
that's
known
not the
many
conclusion
such as you.
that I was getting at. It's just that's the power of the vault. If you are of
forgive
Bhopanese
me.
blood, but not royal Bhopanese blood, it will kill you. This is, however, not true for outsiders. And he looks at the 4 of you. The survival of Selmius Foster and Adolphus attest to that, as they did succeed in opening the vault. It did not kill them. They did not perish, whereas every Bhopanese person who has attempted to bypass the vault's wards has died instantly, and many have tried over the centuries, thinking that maybe they were different, that they were the one. But they all failed. Now, I am a student of our histories, and while I have heard many negative things about Pathfinders in those official accounts, I've begun to doubt them. And I know you are in league with this society. And if I know, others here may know as well. You needn't worry about that. However, the point is, meeting people like you makes me suspect that all these stories and fabrications about the evils of the outside world that have been passed down over the years were all told to further an isolationist stance and keep us from learning about the world outside of Bhopan.
So you share the old princess's views on expanding Bhotan's influence in the world at large.
I do indeed. I think it is the only way Bhopan will ever flourish and grow, not unlike the eternal bloom and its massive penis, which you will see tomorrow evening.
I can't wait to dance under that penis.
Yes, the dance
My
of
old
the
job,
wiener.
I was not allowed to dance. It was a highly restrictive environment, and I know what you're saying. My former boss always had us fearing the outside. Never wanted us to see anything but the rooms in which we were trapped. We didn't know we were trapped for a long time, but once it became clear, I needed to escape. And I think you understand.
Yes, I empathize you. We are not unlike you, trapped in a prison of our own making.
Have you no guesses as to what lies behind the vault's door?
I would be lying if I said I wasn't curious, but I do not know. It was enough for Selmius Foster to perish, to die. It was enough for all the Bhopanese over the years who have attempted to gain access to die, whether they knew or not. It is unclear, but no one knows, and if King Wabikis does know, he has not shared it, even with his most trusted of his advisors, such as myself.
Can the king come and go from the vault as he pleases?
It still takes 4. To my knowledge, he has not. He has not entered the vault, but if he has not told me.
If we were to try to open the vault, would you accompany us?
Yes, indeed. In fact,
Would you go first?
If I were to touch any of the...
Well, we'll open the door, but if you would walk 10
yes.
feet ahead, just
Are
so
you
that we are sure that you are safe, so we can see you ahead of us.
You are very kind to offer me that honor. Yes. Yes, I will, with the protection of the 4 of you at my back, I will enter the vault first.
Can I roll a perception to see, just sense his motive or see what's going on with this? Because this is, it's happening very fast.
It's all happening very fast.
It's all happening too fast.
All right. Okay, 22.
He seems very, very sincere. I think that he, like you pointed out, he shares the princess's desires to sort of take Bhopan into the next century, and doesn't think it can happen if they never allow outsiders to do things. And so he thinks that, if the outsiders who have been vilified over the years tried to do something and were killed for it, that maybe they were onto something. And you have no reason to believe if they were Pathfinders, now they may have been, jackasses, but they were probably good dudes. You have no reason to believe they had any evil intent. But, he seems, it's obviously a little weird, but he seems to be on the level.
Forgive me for asking, but this isn't some sort of scheme with which you could murder us and chalk it up to without having to, wrinkle any diplomatic circles or...
No. I assure you that is not the case. I am looking to learn the truth and uncover our past, and it could reveal that your man Selmius was innocent of his crimes. My motives are entirely above board and for the furtherment of Bhopan.
I, for one, believe you.
Thank you.
Now we need to get on with our religious ceremony, if you please.
But of course, just one last thing. Timing. Yes, you asked about walking freely throughout the halls, and you can. You will not get anywhere near the vault. Anything of importance is heavily guarded by gods that are more powerful than the ones that you saw standing outside on the Petal Bridge.
Do you think we could take them? If we had to, really throw down?
Absolutely not. You would be outnumbered.
We do
if
have
not.
a robot and a skeleton.
I'm extremely well trained.
What if you can summon a dragon?
He has a dragon in him.
You would still be outnumbered, if not outclassed. Good to know. But no, it would be a death sentence. However, tomorrow night, during the masquerade, it will be the most opportune time, as the revelers will be heavily distracted. That's not to say there won't be gods as well, but there'll be so much going on.
We were kind of looking forward to going to that, though. So is there another night that's good?
You sold us on the dancing under the penis.
You made it sound really cool.
We're already booked for the penis dance.
Yeah.
You can. I
want to
highly
see the wiener.
Taking part in the penis dance is crucial to the plan. In fact, you'll need to act carefully and deliberately throughout the proceedings so as not to arouse suspicion. Take part in the dance all the way to its end, because at the end of the dance, it will be the best time to go. When the pollen fills the air and people dance throughout space and time, that is when we will make our way to the vault.
Must not arouse the wiener. I hear you.
I find that dancing under the penis sometimes does arouse things.
Yes,
He's a straight up psycho, by the way. Would that affect our chances against the gods?
I'm sure you will all be affected in different ways by the spectacle. But I do ask you one thing. Should things go sour for any reason, should suspicions arouse and anyone in the castle become aware of what we are speaking of, please do not use violence against my fellow citizens and my people. I cannot help you if you shed my people's blood underneath the spires of Pathfinder.
How are we to kill them? You mean strangulation or smothering?
I would hope that no one would die at all.
Oh, I see. Yes, sorry.
Take part in the dance. And when the bloom explodes, meet me where the vault is.
Okay. Thanks.
A lot of weird imagery.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to feel about that imagery.
You're gonna love it. Trust me. It's really something else.
So we'll arouse the penis flower. The bloom will explode, and then people will dance through space and time. Is
what else? What don't you understand?
we'll raise the penis and then open the vault.
Yes, this guy gets it. The guy that has a dragon gets it. All right, hands in.
Yeah, sounds good.
Could not be clearer. Thank you.
All right.
We're not doing the hands thing?
As soon as he's gone, Rufus goes, so much fucking exposition!
It did feel a little shoehorned in there. Just kept talking about his opinions on the history of his people.
So many things that we had to learn. My head hurts, dude.
I think that's why I kept talking about wieners, was to just keep our interest. Sort of like Game of Thrones.
I believe they call it sex position.
Sex position, exactly.
Sex position, yes. Well, I think he already told us the whole plan, so I don't really think we have anything else to discuss.
Let's all go to bed.
Guess we'll just do what the aardvark guy told us to
do. Makes a lot of sense. Well, look, everything's gonna change. Listen, hey, stop laughing. Everything's gonna change once we open that door. What's on the other side? We'll have to make some quick decisions. And Karzor, you're in charge, I think, right? Right? So you gotta make some quick calls as to what we do. I'll look to you for your guidance.
Don't worry. My calls will be quick, as I consider all of you to be completely expendable.
Well, the same goes for you, Grandpa.
I grab him and start hugging him like so tight that it hurts.
I don't know how old Karazor is. I don't know Noel ages. So I just have one question. We're going into the vault just to see what Selmius Foster stole.
Yeah,
are we going to try to take it for ourselves?
That's what we're going to have to decide at the time, man. It's going to be right then. Because no one in this city, it seems, knows what's in the vault.
Well, I'm just going to warn you. If I have to release Velthrexen Bob, he's going to try to take it. And he's going to try to take down as many of these pug wompies with him as he can.
Well,
he's the scourge of Casimir.
We'll keep him inside then. The man said no violence. We cannot harm his people, even if they cut us to pieces. We will lay our arms down.
Just because we arouse a penis and let it explode does not mean that's a reason to unleash your dragon, Rufus.
I'll try to keep the dragon quiet, guys. But sometimes it's not completely up to me. And you see his hand shake a little bit, and he reaches for a bottle of pills.
And with that, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. So y'all go to sleep and wake up. It's the next day.
Yeah!
Were any,
Play our dreams.
Let's role play our dreams.
were any of you hurt and didn't heal from the fight against the Gatewalkers?
I still had some hit points missing.
Yeah, so if you have healing capabilities that are necessary outside of a normal night's rest, we can talk about that real quickly. I don't want to belabor it, but I can't remember how beat up some of you were.
I have a question.
I'll allow it.
Since we got an accomplice to basically plan our heist for us,
Yes.
don't you think we earn a hero point for the day?
Wow.
A new session?
Wow. Gross.
Before we dance under the penis?
Do you get a hero point every game day? Is that how it works?
It's really, they've left it up to me, which means it's bad for you. I think it's meant to get one every 4 hours. So you guys don't have any hero points right now? Yeah, because they don't carry over.
I spent my hero point, I believe, during the Gungle combat.
All right. Pew, 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 pew. Everybody gets a hero point. Pew, 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 pew.
Wow.
You get a hero point just for spectacular role
feels
playing.
good.
This is great. It's easy for me. Pardon me. It's easy for Champ to heal himself up outside of combat. So he took care of that. I was down. I hadn't looked, but I was down. But he took care of that. Unfortunately, I can't help anybody else because I have a touch of corruption. It would only hurt you.
Give it to me.
I'm
I can
down
also-
I'll go ahead.
I was going to offer to perform risky surgery on you, Jared.
Very good. I'm down 11 points. I could use some risky surgery.
Okay, so let me whip out my medical tools. We'll say we'll do it before we go to bed, just in case I hurt you worse. So yeah, I'm going to deal 1d8 slashing points of damage to you to get a +2 on my medicine check here. So that's 2 points of slashing damage, but a natural 19 on the die.
Ooh, a critical success is different. Is it treat wounds?
It's treat wounds, but my critical success, it was already going to be a crit because of the risky surgery, but yeah, it's a crit. So
48?
I believe so. Yes, 48.
Wow.
Nice.
I was going to say the 1d8 damage for 2d8 healing doesn't sound great. But yeah, what is it? A success is a crit? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Okay,
That's great.
I rolled well. You get 23 hit points back.
Oh,
Nice.
That's amazing. And it
So
seems
Balthazar-
right up your alley, Rufus, because it's like, you live in pain all the time, man. You're like, cut me.
Balthazar, he lays you out on the coffee table in the common room. And he's like, I need you to undo your clothing so that I may cut you open.
Just hand me a bottle of whiskey. And then I undo my clothing and my chest glistens. And you see the dragon tattoo on it. And I look like Iggy Pop on stage.
Would you prefer me to cut around the Valthrexen Bob tattoo that you wear?
Do not say his name!
Would you prefer me to cut
Do
around?
what you gotta do, robot. And I take a big swig of whiskey that I didn't put in my inventory. It's gratis from the hotel.
you're gonna get charged for that.
Get that out of the dry bar.
I guess everything's free if you just don't pay your hotel bill.
Yeah, that's right.
We have to assume it's under Karazar's credit card. He left the card down there.
Yeah.
So Balthazar uses his scalpel arm attachment, and he create a risky cut to get inside and to prepare the damage with his robot automaton fingers. And it's quite painful, but then you feel great afterwards.
Yeah, you guys just hear me from the common area going,
Bite here, Rufus. Bite upon my magical plate arm so you might ease the pain.
I bite your plate arm.
Why'd you have to say it like
He
that?
actually did it.
I just want to say I had 11 points missing. That's not even that many, and you're cutting me open. It's like I'm like, my knee hurts, and you're like, here, let me help.
That's what they
Get
say
out the
about
bone saw.
it's I think to a barber every problem looks like a haircut.
That's right. That's the old saying.
You cut my hair very fine. I'm feeling fit and vigorous.
Everybody else good to go?
Actually, I could use a little bit of the old barber magic. Nothing that extreme, though. I'm just a little banged up after that night's sleep.
How many hit points you done?
6.
Are you sure you do not want me to perform some risky surgery on you too?
No. Okay. Can I get a shit off that pill bottle, brother? Go into this. Not sure what they are, but
there's just like 2 left because he took so many last night.
just give me like half of one.
Okay. It breaks off a half of a pill for you.
All right. I take it. I just put it in my pouch. Like, save this for later. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Balthazar does not perform risky surgery on you. He just treats your wounds, and you get 5 hit points back.
Nice.
Oh, God. I was going to wait for you to get high like an hour before the penis explodes. It's going to be amazing.
I'll wait till I get a couple of beers in me and really activate this thing.
All right, we'll do a jump cut from there to the festivity. Just wide shot of everybody's coming up, like all sorts of weird looking people rolling in, and they're not all dressed like Leljeshin and King Wabikis, but everything is very ostentatious, and especially for an event like this, it's a big deal. And so when you wake up that day, maybe you are given clothes to wear, and if you remember, the king said that you could, they weren't going to take your weapons away, that would be, they understand you're strangers here. They don't want you to feel like you're unarmed and unsafe, but that you're, expected to keep them sheathed. However, you're given like all these crazy looking multicolored clothing to wear, and it's kind of expected for you to do that. It basically would be a huge social blunder to not participate fully in this. And there's still information that you're looking for. So you're going to do it. And you get out there, and it is quite a scene. It really takes over the whole town. And you've got a while still before the grand dance begins, and so you can explore. There's several tents and tables set up all throughout the maze-like parks and halls of the Eternal Bloom. And the guests are all wandering about, taking part in various activities. It's got kind of a Ren Fair feel, kind of a flea market feel, but like much more fancy. And as you wander about, you happen upon a table that contains various meats and plants. And all the meats are on kebab sticks. And then there are these barrel-sized pitcher plants. You familiar with a pitcher plant? It's kind of like, not quite a Venus flytrap, but kind of like it's a giant plant that looks like a pitcher that you would pour a liquid out of.
So there's nectar in it, and it draws insects in, and they die in there, and the plant eats them.
There you go. Well, you see someone.
Yeah.
You see someone walk up to it, and he pays the guy behind the table a couple coins, and then he pulls out a dagger, pricks his finger, and dangles it over the pitcher plant. And as he dangles it there and the blood is dripping, the plant just opens up to accept the drop of blood. And as it opens up to accept the blood, the guy that paid for this experience grabs a kebab full of meat and vegetables and dips it into the acid inside of the mouth of the plant, which seems to marinate the meat like some kind of ceviche. He leaves it in there for a second, and the guy nods, and he pulls it out and just starts eating it. Is anyone interested in taking part in this?
Did he just stick his food in his own blood, dude?
Well, he used the blood to sort of activate the opening of the plant.
And then he stuck the food in the same opening. That's nasty, bro.
So you're out.
No, I'm having one.
Rock and roll, bro.
I think Rufus mainly lives off of pills and whiskey, but like most people like that, every once in a while he gets ravenously hungry, and so he'll do that. He'll prick his finger into the plant, then he'll grab a kebab stick And then he'll kind of like make a face like, should I? And then he'll just stick the kebab stick into the plant. Really work it in there. Really,
Sure, get it covered with
get
the
it
juices.
deep, you know?
Do you have any
and-
like crafting skill or cooking skill or anything relevant?
No, I'm untrained in crafting.
All right, give me a perception check, because you're as you're sticking around in there, you realize it's not just a dip and pull, that there's actually like some cavities in there, and to get it really sauced up correctly, you've got to maneuver just so you got to kind of look in there. Give me a perception.
Oh no, I only rolled a 14, so I probably didn't put my kebab in the right plant cavity.
There it is. You're like, you stick it in there, and it comes out, and it looks pretty delicious. And you
good.
eat it. Yeah, you eat it, and it. It is pungent, gamey, and a little weird. That acid, it burns your throat on the way down, but there is a good flavor behind it as well. Does anybody else want to attempt to take part?
Can we take part without eating? Because Balthazar doesn't eat. Is it like would it be societally useful to do so?
Of course, as Lajeshin said, it's all about keeping up airs here and trying.
Then Balthazar will also participate. Can I roll? I don't have crafting. Could I roll medicine or surgery lore to like know what part of stamen I'm mixing in?
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure part of your surgical training was knowing about the plant cavities.
Yeah. Hey, I've been around for 7,000 years. You don't know what I perform surgery
That's
on.
true. If it was anybody else, I'd question.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So you really get it in there, and like with surgical precision, you just slide it right into its cavity, and the plant goes, yes. And you pull it out, and then just hold it like a weirdo. Champ, Karazor, do you guys want to play?
No. He just he stands aside. He's not interested in food-based things at all. It just doesn't interest him.
Champ, you remember eating, don't you? Can't be that old.
I don't remember. I'm trying. Okay, maybe this will help me remember.
Yeah,
And he walks up, and I'll grab one of these things. He has no skills in anything.
Give me a perception
You
check.
also can't give them blood, right?
That's right. So yeah, Balthazar, you would actually need to ask someone to give you blood. I'd forget about that. You could ask one of your friends or like a nearby person.
Borrow some from that guy.
I got this, Balthazar. Ah! This episode has so much moaning.
There's a lot going on here. So Champ, do you want to borrow someone's blood or ask a local?
The guy who's like running the thing are people just randomly stopping by and doing this, or is someone
They're
running
paying for the
this?
experience. But
They're
yeah, there's a
paying-
guy there. He's taking the money.
Yeah, so he'll go to the guy who's taking the money, and he's just like,
I'm a little short on blood. Could I? Do you have
yes.
any in the back?
I see. Please, you are a visitor to our place. This one's on me. And give me a diplomacy check.
okay. That is a 15.
But of course. And he flicks it.
You're very kind. Thank you.
And he jams that thing in there super awkward because he has no idea what he's doing. Did you say perception?
Yeah. Unless
Dude,
you have crafting or
Just got a 23.
Okay, it actually slides in ever so nicely. And you pull it out, and it looks fully covered in this thing. It must take you back to a time when you did eat.
Yeah, and he's and he just jams his thing in his teeth. This is like he's just shipping and flying off.
It's just falling out of
And
your
it's just
ribs.
falling out onto the ground. Like,
It's like bouncing off of your pelvic bone. And
and he
then
turns to cars or
It's not bringing any memories back. I don't remember.
But you do it so
anything.
well. I'm shocked.
Karzor, do you want to try?
Yeah, I love ethnic food. I'd love to try.
Okay. I'm assuming you don't have any sort of relevant crafting or cooking lore, so just give me a perception check.
Okay. Perception check. That's a 17.
17. All right, so you slide it in there, and it's a little tricky going down, but you do eventually find a cavity to get it in, and you get it in, and it comes out, and it smells quite wild.
All right. Well, when in Absalom. And I take some furtive nibbles.
It's delicious, and you feel like you are getting into it. So you continue walking about, and there's just a lot going on here. You do have some time before the grand dance, but one thing
there archery?
There is an archery competition.
Anybody playing music? I want to go to whoever's playing music.
There is a small stage, and then there is a grand stage.
Is anyone hurt and in need of surgery?
There are, well, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because there seems to be this, game going on nearby, and you see basically a bunch of people gathering around a circular pen of some sort that's closed in, and there's holes all around the pen, and you see a bunch of people walk up to it. They pay for the price of admission, and they all inhale this fume. There's this ball that's having these crazy fumes. They all take this fume, and then they're just and they stick their hand inside the pen, and then once they're all there, they're all kind of looking like this, and then the guy who took the money rings a bell, and they all go to pull their hands out, and then one guy just goes, and he pulls out just a stump where his hand used to be.
Oh my God.
And the guy goes, "We have a winner!" He gives the guy a bunch of money, and he's just like, so you do see that guy.
Wait, Troy, that's in the module?
Balthazar will go up to that guy and see if he needs help.
You walk up to that guy, and as you do, you can see into the pen, and you see there's a giant snapping turtle inside of the pen, and it's just kind of roaming around, and there's just severed hands all inside of the pen, and it's gnawing on one. Step right up, who wants to play weird turtle snapping hand game?
And to be clear, you win the money if you get your hand bitten off.
That's right. And it looked like a decent sum. And this guy's like,
so in a way, you're really just selling your hand.
That's all you're doing.
But no, you're bidding on the chance to sell your hand, because a bunch of people paid money and didn't get their hands bitten off.
It's true. It's true. So what do you say to this guy? I'm rich.
Would you care for me to assist you with that injury?
How? My hand's in there.
Well, I can cauterize the wound and perhaps relieve you of some of your agony. Or I can prolong it if that is your pleasure.
No, please. Do this, cauterize it, whatever that means.
And, okay, Balthazar is going to find a torch somewhere.
Use your eye lasers.
I could use my eye lasers.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what they're for, probably.
I was going to heat up my plate arm and just my arm plating and.
Oh, that's fun too.
All right. You know what? Balthazar is going to do a light eye laser on his arm to warm it up, just really, really light, a really, really light touch. And it starts to glow a little red, and then I say, "This might sting a bit."
Oh God, this was worse than losing my hand.
And then I'll heal him I'll do a medicine check to treat wounds.
Okay, do it just to see if you fail and hurt him further.
I get a 16, so I pass.
Oh man, it's crazy, but that feels better.
How much money did you make?
I won 100 wubikis.
Ah, yes. This is a nation where the currency is named after the sitting monarch.
Of course. I was under the assumption this was pro bono surgery.
I was as well, but I would be happy to accept a small token of your gratitude.
He just says, "Thank you. Thank you," and he rubs his cauterized hand on your face. "Thank you." His blood is all over your armor now.
There's no blood, I cauterized it.
All right. Oh, they're doing another game. I'm going to try with my other hand. And
Double or nothing.
Hell yeah!
do any of you guys wanna-
Beakies, I can buy people to be my hands.
do any of you guys want to try to?
Pay people to be my hands.
Do you want to try to play this game?
No.
No.
I know. No.
Okay. All right. So he puts his hand in, and you guys just walk away. And seconds later, you hear, "Oh God!" Another scream. You wanted to go to a stage, Jared?
Yeah, I want to see what kind of music's being played. You said there's a large stage and a small stage?
Yeah.
Let's start with the small stage.
All right, you go to the small stage, and the large stage actually looks like it's ticketed, so it makes sense you go up to the small stage, but there's a lot of people there. They're jamming. They're drinking out of big steins. And you see this guy, and he's got a lute, and he's really like meow, 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 jamming on it. But as he does, you notice there's this like display on the wall behind him, and as he's playing, the display is coming to life. However, they're two separate things. And so he's playing to this thing that's happening. And so you look over at the other thing and you see like a fenced off area. And there's just these flashes of sparks and swirls of fire that are coming from below. But then all of this stuff up in the air, behind it. There's a lot of stuff going on, but you can't quite see. Do you want to go over there?
Yeah, of course. So
Okay.
it's like a fireworks display behind him?
That's kind of what it looks like. Looks like people are like doing something and there's little stuff going on, but then big displays similar to fireworks. But also things that are just like multicolored and not really fire related. So anyways, you roll over there and it is, everything's been weird, but this one is very weird. There's people there, similar to what the guy was doing for the pitcher plant. They're pricking their finger and then like holding the blood and then walking over to this like football-sized caterpillar and like sticking their finger, and the mandibles of the caterpillar open and just like start sucking the blood out of their finger. And when they do that, the celebrant then takes the caterpillar while it's sucking on them and walks over to another area and begins like ritually tickling the caterpillar.
This is messed up.
And you watch, and everyone's doing it in a different way. Not everyone is doing this weird thing that I'm going to do here. Some of them are like but it seems very ritualistic in the way that they're like tickling and rubbing the caterpillar. And as it does so, the caterpillar's like mandibles then open up and a bunch of shit comes out of it. So there's some that have multicolored sparks, some that have these gouts of flame, some that are just like a Roman candle, like and they're holding it and kind of directing it. And so the guy on stage is like trying to keep up with these displays. It is wild.
So these people are doing this while he is trying to like play music along as accompaniment to these displays.
Yeah.
Is there a loose caterpillar?
Oh, sure. The guy's like, would you like to try? Would you like to try?
I think Rufus sees all this and he's like, oh, hell yeah. And then he walks up and he pricks his finger and he stuffs it into a caterpillar's mouth.
It just stuffs it into a caterpillar's mouth and it starts sucking on it. And it's a very odd feeling, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's something... it kind of feels good in a way as well. And, you see everyone tickling and it's almost like they're playing it like an instrument. But it's oddly sexual too. And so the guy then directs you, there's a space for you here. And there's a space for you to tickle your caterpillar.
Yeah, I play it like a lute, man. I do a guitar solo on my caterpillar.
All right. Give me a performance check for this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
Just love this
And
image.
we're looking at a 19 altogether.
A 19 altogether. So you just start wailing on it, and clearly you're not familiar with the ritual because it just starts like spouting off gray and black on the walls, and like one big blob just like lands in front of your feet, and everyone's like, whoa, they're stepping back. It's it's a dud. It seems like you've got a bit of a dud. Or you're not tickling it the right way. A gray one will spam, and then you hear people go, "Oh God!" Like it went to another display, and the guy's like, "Oh, all right, maybe next time."
Oh, is there any way I could pocket the caterpillar and get out of there?
Yeah, you want to do a sort of stealth or thievery?
Yeah, I'll try thievery.
Okay.
That is a natural 1 on the die.
Oh no!
Pardon me, sir. Are you trying to take my caterpillar?
Oh, I'm sorry. I am new here and I do not know your ways. I thought that each caterpillar was given to the guests after. Here you go. You can have it back.
Thank you.
That one's
Yes.
broken, by the way.
It is broken?
It's not working correctly. And I am offended that you gave me, a visitor, the broken caterpillar.
Oh, well, I am so sorry. He cracks it in half.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
Would you perhaps like to try again with a fresh one? I would not want to be rude to an outsider.
Yeah, I want to try one more time.
Okay. Please, tickle it like there's no tomorrow. I am so sorry. And he stomps on the one that's broken. Oh, this is so embarrassing. On the day of the Masquerade of Seasons. Whatever.
Okay, here we go. I've already let it suck my finger, and now here's my performance roll. Oh my god, my dice. That's a 14.
Said the same thing happens. Another one! What are the odds? Son of a God!
Yeah, and this time I take the caterpillar and I spike it on the ground. And I go, God damn it, this sucks! It all sucks! You suck, and you suck!
This just goes on.
this!
This just goes on for way too long. There's dead football-sized caterpillars all over the place. What is Champ doing?
I storm out, yeah.
Champ was looking for an archery competition. I was wondering if they had a target shooting anywhere.
You see, there's a guy who's just like, whoom, and hits. He puts his arrow right through another arrow that was on the bullseye. And everyone's like, ha ha, oh, and they're cheering him on like he just can't be beat. Oh, are you a possible contender to my archery throne? And everybody cheers.
You're not going to be cheering in a minute. I'm about to take you down, fella.
What did you say to me?
I said I don't see any other competition up here. Must be nice when you don't have to play anyone but yourself. But that's about to change.
And he pulls out this short bow off his back. Short bow? Composite longbow.
Shall we
retake the scene?
You listen up, Bone Fingers. You think you're tough? You think you can beat me?
I don't see
what?
I don't see a penis around, but I'm ready to dance. Let's go. Knock loose.
I'm so tired. That's so funny.
It's so funny to be tired and yet GMing what is essentially a fever dream.
I don't see a penis around, but I'm ready to dance. That is so funny. That is so funny.
That's a t-shirt. There's a t-shirt.
He's like, well, go ahead, Bone Fingers. Does Bone Fingers have a name?
Name's Champ. Champ Kindly.
Oh, Champ. Like he wishes. What's your real name, Bone Fingers? I'm the champ around here.
I'm named Champ because I always win. Let's do this.
And he's
Rock and roll, buddy.
he stands up and like immediately antagonizes this guy. And I just want to say, from a meta, what I'm doing is like really overbuilding the confidence for what will assuredly be an embarrassing display. All right, so he steps up with his longbow, and there's the target's there. It's set up. Right, and it's good to go. You said there's a bunch of people watching, so all right. So he's gonna pull out an arrow, knock it into the bow, draw it back, and then just turn away from the target and look at the guy and loose it. And he gets a natural 4. God damn it! For an adjusted 13 to hit.
You look at the guy, and then you turn back, and you just see an old woman with an arrow in her chest.
Balthazar comes loping in to do risky surgery on the old woman.
Champ turns back to the other guy. He says,
Don't worry, that's why I bring him. Should be fine.
you see Balthazar moving over toward the woman.
He's attaching a scalpel attachment. He lays the woman down out of sight, and you start to hear her scream.
There's nothing. Gust of wind. Let's try another one. Where you go?
All right, and he just like looks at you, holds the bow behind him, and fires it, and immediate bullseye.
I'd like to see you roll a die.
All right, I will.
I can make up where my arrow goes too. But this world has rules.
Let's say, all right, so I rolled a 15 over your 4. So it hits. Bullseye.
Bullseye. I was
You
just
really want to do this again?
I was just waiting for one to get in there that I could split in half.
And then turns and looks at the Duke. Yes. Come on, champ. That is a 23.
Ooh.
All right, he only rolled a 6, so like you do split his arrow in the crowd. Whoa! All right, last time I looked, it's a tie. This one's for all the marbles. I'll go first.
You hear, "Oh my god! Oh my god!"
As you're performing risky surgery on the old woman.
There's a spurt of blood out from like behind the crowd.
The old woman's playing the turtle game now. All right, he rolled a 4.
Oh, all right. Got a strong
All right, so
opening here.
We'll say it hits the target, but there is space for you to take the victory. And if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, I will die laughing. I will actually die laughing. So he hits. He's like, all right.
I bet you've never seen this one before.
You have to remember, all Champ did for over 100 years is just shoot an arrow, like over and over and over and over again. So like, this is thrilling for him that there's a game, because he was always just playing the game in his head, trying to hit certain the place where certain bricks met each other over and over again. So he just stands up, pulls out the arrow. He's like,
I don't think you've seen this one before.
and he just goes, fade away, and he jumps back in the air and fires as he's jumping and moving away, and gets a natty 17. Yeah, dude, best arrow yet. Shaboom with the fadeaway jumper, the much unused fadeaway jumper archery shot.
You don't see it that often, yeah, and it arced perfectly into the bull, and the guy's just like, oh, and the crowd's like, Champ. The old woman comes over, she's missing both hands.
And just like over and over again. While they're cheering. This might be the greatest moment of his known life so far.
He's been waiting to show off his skills.
And Balthazar walks over to you, and he just comes up and he leans down to whisper in your ear. She died from her wounds. He's like, pats him on the shoulder and walks along.
Good work. She died from her wounds.
Enjoy the rest of your day. It was a pleasure.
He turns around and like scurries out of there. She died.
Before the cops show up.
She died. We gotta go.
We're all just out here trying to figure out who shot this old woman.
Yeah, we're all trying to figure out who did this.
Finally, Karazor, the dance will, you would assume it'll begin soon. Is there anything that you were looking to do in this nonsense?
Yeah, Karazor is looking around. He's going to break out some of his patented stand-up comedy.
All right, so the guy playing for the Caterpillars, he's like, I'm going to take a quick set break, and then someone hands him a piece of paper. Okay, coming up next to the stage is Karazor the Knoll. Couple people. Clap.
All right.
I'm still over there. I'm watching. I'm watching.
All right, people.
At this point, you all trickle in.
Anybody here from Bhopan?
I'm from Bhopan. We're all from Bhopan.
All right. Hey, they say Bhopan audiences, the best audiences in the world. You ever notice that people from Absalom walk like this? Just walks upright. He says, and the people from Bhopan walk like this. And he gets on all fours like, all right, thank you very much. You all been great sports. Tip your waitresses. All right.
Do you have any sort of performance skill?
I have performance. I've trained in performance. Natural 20. Oh my
God. Amazing. So, yeah, I mean, there's like this pause after you make yet another horrible insult against the Bhupanese people. And then they're like, they're laughing. They think it's hilarious. They're falling out of their chair because of a natural 20, just like, holding their sides. Another arrow comes flying in, hits a guy that's laughing.
Balthazar slowly drags him off.
I walk up to Karazor after he's done, and I'm like, that was so good. Can I give you an idea for what you could do at the end?
Sure, yeah. All stand-up comedians love suggestions.
What if you did like Jal Sheshin's voice, and you were like, I gotta go to the bathroom. That could be.
Oh my God, that's great. We should team up. You have your music.
I'm more of a musician.
I know, but like we could do like a Smothers Brothers thing. You'd be up there with your guitar. The dragon can come out for the finale. I think it'd be hilarious.
I'm really looking for more of a solo thing right now. But
all right.
Yeah.
All right, just think about it.
It would be fun one day. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
As you're conversing, taking in all of the wonderful festivities of the Masquerade of Seasons, all of a sudden, music starts to swell throughout everywhere. It's coming from all around you, even though this festival is taking place across a multiple mile long stretch. And you see everyone stop what they're doing and start to close down their shops and everything and begin moving towards a central area. And if you're lingering there for a second, someone says, well, what are you waiting for? The dance is about to begin. And we'll see you next week.
Oh my God. I didn't even realize that was the end of the episode. That flew by. Oh my God. How did we didn't even advance anything. We just messed around.
You'd be surprised.
We played at the carnival. It was fun.
That was freaking awesome.
Oh, man.